Good morning. Here's another quick video, just sort of last minute thinking. I went down to my cloner this morning. I had put some sage and lavender in there a couple of months ago, I guess. This is December, so it must have been a couple of months ago, right before everything was going dormant. And I pulled this one out this morning because it had a lot of roots. I wasn't planning on doing any big potting this morning, but I figured this one really needs to go into a pot. So I'm going to do that. And here is my soil mix. This is the organic Miracle-Gro soil. I buy it at Costco every year in the spring. It's literally the only place I've ever seen it sold. I don't know if it's a special mix for them or if somebody else sells it. This is half Miracle-Gro potting soil, the organic one without the chemicals. It's half perlite, looks a little bit like cookie crumbs, and then I mixed in some water beads. You don't have to put in the water crystals. I just find that if I am forgetful and forget to check on my plants downstairs for a few days and any of them start to dry up, it's you know, a sad thing. So if I put that in there, it gives me a little bit more leeway for that. So I'm just going to fill this bag. These are grow bags, and they're supposed to be biodegradable, and they do eventually, but I don't plant these in the soil. I just use them for the time being, and I like these because it air prunes the roots, so you don't end up with plants that are root bound. So I'm going to fill that up and get it going. One thing I forgot to mention about these bags is that they come like this. They come folded. So what I do is I open them up and I turn them inside out. But I turn it inside out like that. Okay. And then to fill it, I find it easier if you turn the edges, the top edges. I find it easier if you turn the top edges back like that. So that's why I have it like this. It sits a little nicer, and then as I fill it, I roll the edges back because it has the soil in it for some stability at that point. Here is my pot. I'm going to put my sage in. The roots are pretty big, so I'm making a very deep hole in this. You can see down in there. And I'm just going to take my sage cutting, which I have kept in a glass of water while I've been waiting so that it does not dry out. As you can see, it doesn't go all the way in, so I'm actually going to go a little bit deeper. There, try that. And that looks pretty good. And then I just gently fill this in. It's not the same thing like when you get plants at a nursery and you have to tap them into the ground like when they're going outside. I try to be pretty gentle with these cuttings. You know, they've come from the cloner, which, you know, they're kind of, the stem is dangling in air, just getting lightly misted in the cloner. So the roots are pretty delicate. So you just want to be really gentle putting them in soil. I'm going to put them back in my basement under the lights, and this whole pot will fill up with these roots. I mean, within a month, this will be a very different plant. It grows pretty fast once it's at this stage. And that's about it. If you've never used a cloner, there's a lot of different brands. I got mine on a lightning deal on Amazon like 5 years ago. The brand that I have is a Clone King, but I didn't get it because of the brand. I got it because it happened to be a good deal. They're all pretty much the same specs. It's like a bucket with a mister. There's like a pump under the water with a mister, and you put the water in there, and then there's kind of a top where you put the stems in, and the stems just hang down in the mist. I did have to tent mine. It didn't come with a dome or anything, and that's one thing I wish I had, but I just tent it with a plastic bag. So this is my basement. This is my cloner. It's kind of a mess. The cloner itself isn't a mess. It's just with the plastic bag on it, it doesn't look very nice. So if you manage to find one that has a dome that actually fits it, then that's kind of a nice thing to have. I have plenty of domes, as you can see. I just don't have a dome that fits that. So I'm going to put this new sage probably in here with this lavender. And if you can see, that lavender is in a black pot now, which is a 1 gallon pot. The lavender initially grew in one of these, but it was really big. The roots were all over the place, so I moved it up. And I do expect the roots will get a little bit, I don't know, root bound, but they'll be a little bit packed in there by the time I need to plant that, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I might move it to a cooler location to slow it down a bit once it gets to where the roots are starting to poke out the bottom. So that's about it. If you've ever wondered how people use cloners, you know, this is how. It's under my lights, and these cuttings have been in here a while, but I don't think they have enough roots on them yet to pot up. I like them for them to have a pretty good amount of roots before I pot them up, just to make sure that it's going to take. And that's about all.